All right. Today we're going to be taking a look at a figure that I've been really excited about for a while. For today's video, we're going to be looking at Transformers Missing Link C-02 Convoy, or Optimus Prime. And yeah, this is a really cool figure. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what Missing Link is, this is a new concept that Takara is trying out, where basically they're taking like the original sculpts for the G1 figures, but then giving them added articulation and features and stuff like that. So I say sculpt because I don't actually know if they're using any of the same molds for any of these pieces, because there are obviously some areas where they're having to remold things just so it can actually have different articulation. But basically it's supposed to just be a recreation of the Generation 1 figure, but with more articulation, just kind of a redo of the same thing. And this is a concept that I've always really thought that would be a really cool idea to see in Transformers, especially since Mattel and their Masters of the Universe line did the Origins line, which is basically the same idea of like using those original like sculpts of figures, but then giving them more articulation and stuff like that, but keeping it like visually as true to the original as possible. Man, I'm so glad that they decided to do this, because like, I don't know, I just thought it would be a really fun thing for them to do, and it's a really cool figure. And you know, believe it or not, this is actually the first version of G1 Optimus Prime that I've actually gotten, so I can't really compare this with the original one, unfortunately. But I'll do my best to kind of point out all the spots that I know there are differences. But yeah, there are two versions of this guy. There's C-01 and C-02. Now, C-01 is supposed to be the like toy colors edition, and C-02 is supposed to be the animation colors edition. And the other big difference is that C-01 also comes with his trailer, whereas C-02 is just the cab and then a few other accessories. The reason I went with this one is just because like this figure is already a lot more expensive than I would normally be comfortable spending on this kind of thing. Like this guy was $70. And I believe that C-01 was like $120. He was definitely over $100. And like, I don't know if I wanted to pay an extra like $40 to $50 for the trailer, especially since the trailer is largely unchanged. Like there's a couple differences, but like, I don't know, I'd rather just press my luck and try to just find a G1 like original G1 trailer to go with this guy, because like, man, the price is just such a bummer. Like I get that it has to be more expensive than like a figure would standardly be of like this price class, because it's got like die cast bits and stuff like that. It's kind of a premium item, so I wouldn't expect it to be like, you know, Voyager price or anything like that. But $70 is challenging. But you know, I've been wanting this kind of thing for so long that I was not gonna pass this up and, you know, risk waiting for a sale or anything like that. So yeah, I know I'm pretty pleased with him. You know, I'm not totally pleased about having spent $70 on him, but I do really like this figure. He's a lot of fun. So in terms of accessories, some of the things that he comes with, he comes with his ion blaster here, which has now been given a second peg, so he can actually hold it from like the proper position instead of in the middle, though they kept the middle one as well for whatever reason. He also comes with an Energon axe, which is a new item. This was not, you know, featured in any G1 toy, but this is very cool. He comes with a matrix and a matrix chamber. Now this just comes inside of him and it stores there, but I figured I'd show how it, you know, kind of comes off. And it can just stay inside the figure indefinitely. Like if you just open this up here, you can see he does have the seats sculpted in there, but you can also just put in the matrix chamber piece and then store the matrix inside of him, and that works. Although you can kind of see it through the window, so it's nice that it's removable, you know, just in case that bothers you, but that doesn't really bug me all that much. And then unfortunately, these pieces don't really have anywhere to store. They did, I imagine, have places to go on the trailered version, but yeah, you know, it's fine. But yeah, no, and some accessories that he's missing is his hands, because one of the big updates they've made to this guy is the hands no longer parts for him like they did on the original figure, which is really great. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, just for the standard one, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe, just so you can see what he looks like with an average Modern Deluxe. For another G1 comparison, here he is with G1 Bumblebee, just a little mini bot Bumblebee. They have announced that well, it's not official. We've seen leaked images that the next missing link products that they're doing are Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, which is really exciting. I'm hoping that those can be a lot cheaper since, there's not nearly as much diecast on this guy, pretty much just the one piece, I think. And they're obviously really tiny, so I'm hoping that they don't charge like $30 for this, because I don't know. This guy was like comparable to what they usually charge for G1 reissues of Optimus Prime, which is still more than I would want to pay for it. But hopefully we're looking at like $15 or less for Bumblebee, since the reissues of Bumblebee were like $10. So fingers crossed. But either way, I'm really excited for that. I really hope that they do Soundwave too. Those would be like the big three that I would really want, like the G1 versions of with updated articulation. But yeah, that's exciting. And here he is with Earthrise Optimus Prime, just so you can see what the two of them look like together. Now, like I said, I don't have the G1 trailer, and I don't have, the trailer that came with the C-01 version, obviously. But just to show off what he looks like with Earthrise Prime's trailer, it does kind of work. I mean, it can't actually like peg in there because, this side has a peg and that side has a peg, but level wise it actually does kind of line up. So I don't know, apparently we're getting like a Studio Series Commander class Optimus Prime next year, so maybe if I end up replacing this guy and that comes with a trailer, then I'll like 3D print a part that can kind of make it so this guy has a trailer. I don't know, because I think that looks pretty good, honestly. Obviously it would look better with the G1 styled trailer, but yeah, it works. And then real quick before we get on to transformation, I do want to show off the box that this guy came with, because he came with a couple different, he came with this like inner box here, which actually has him packed in like styrofoam, like the G1 figures, which I guess I appreciate in terms of like an homage, but I feel like that's kind of a waste. Like there's a reason that we've stopped using styrofoam on toy packaging for environmental reasons. And I guess it's a nice homage, but like, I don't know, that I don't really like that they did that, but still, either way, I mean, I guess I'm not going to throw out that piece, so it doesn't matter for me. I'm just going to keep the box as it is. But that's the inner box that he came with, and then the whole thing came in this like outer box here, which I don't usually show off the boxes, but for a special item like this, I figured I'd show that off. So that's what you're getting in terms of the packaging here. He also, before I put that away, he also came with a tech spec reader here, so you can actually see his stats there. I mean, it's all in Japanese, but you get the general idea, just to kind of recreate that G1 sort of identity of the packaging. Also came with this kind of flimsy collector's card type thing. All right, cool, whatever. And then also he came with a sticker sheet, which I'll show off more in robot mode. I used some of them. I didn't use all of them, but it's mostly robot mode detail, aside from like the bumper details up here. Basically, another one of the differences between this guy and the C-01 version is that the C-01 had a lot of painted and sculpted detail to like match what the toy looked like, that this guy left off because that detail was just like solid blue or solid red or solid silver on the animation model, which again, I'll show off most of that in robot mode, but it's nice that it at least comes with that option, though I do have my qualms about the quality of the stickers. But yeah, to get onto transformation, as you might expect, it is mostly similar to G1 Optimus Prime, just with a couple differences. First thing you want to do is take these sections here and rotate them out, revealing that his hands are actually attached to the thing rather than being separate pieces that you have to unpeg. And then take this whole section and rotate it out like that. Rotate the hands forward, which rotates in the little headlights there. I do sort of worry about, like, I mean, I don't know if I'm doing this the best way, but like you sort of have to like pull this out simultaneously so you're not like brushing it against the chrome piece of this the fuel tank there. So I do sort of worry about that chipping eventually, but and then yeah, we'll talk about that. He's got great joints. But yeah, you just want to fold the arms out like that. And then one difference with G1 Optimus Prime is you actually want to take the front wheels and just untab them and hinge them out to the side like this, so that you can take the legs, untab them from each other, and then rotate them down like this. And then you pull them out on this joint. They click out one click to the left and right just to widen his legs a little bit, which is nice. And then you can fold down the toes, kind of take the wheels. You could honestly just like tab them back in, like they sit perfectly fine. But you're just supposed to just sort of like, let them rest on the side there. And then last but not least, you take this panel here and flip it up for his head, and there we have Missing Link Optimus Prime in his robot mode. And yeah, he looks wonderful. I mean, obviously, you know, the G1 Optimus Prime design is just iconic, so obviously he was going to look good no matter what, as long as he looks like that original. But yeah, he's got a lot of fun new features here. And here, this is one of the things, I guess I'll talk about this now. You can see there's some spots on him, which I believe this is one of the differences too, that like these spots here that all have like this detailing were just flat sections on the original Optimus Prime, and then they had stickers on them like this guy does to kind of, you know, add the like detailing there. So with the toy version, obviously that's all like painted in and looks really nice. So it's like the painting and the sculpting on there. But with the cartoon version, since that's not like actually accurate to how he looked in the cartoon, like he didn't actually have any of that detail there. They like kept the sculpting and then just painted it red or blue or whatever, and then included a sticker sheet. Now, unfortunately, the sticker sheet then covers up the sculpting, so it's like, I don't know, it kind of makes it a little bit more like the original toy. And I decided to do these pieces and the bumpers, but I liked the gray on the feet, so I decided not to do those. I didn't really think he needed the extra Autobot logo, and I liked the sculpting on the arms. So though I would like those pieces painted, I decided not to put the arm detail on there. And honestly, I'm probably going to peel the knee stickers off too, because they're really bad. Like they don't quite fit into place. Like they bend around this little curve here, and they are already like flaking off. And I got this guy like 2 days ago, so yeah, that's not great. These are fine because they're in these like indented sections anyway, so there's not really like an easy way to get at them once they're on there. So even though they don't stick as well as I feel like they ought to, they're not really in any risk of peeling off, whereas this just kind of looks ugly. So I'm probably just going to end up peeling those off. And there is like a sculpted version of this underneath that, just not painted. So at least it's still got the detailing there somewhat. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed by the stickers, but I'm sure that like a company like Toy Hacks is going to end up making a sticker sheet for this guy that has like the nice kind of vinyl stickers. So, you know, if you really need that, I'm sure it will come. But it's just like, yeah, you know, I already paid so much for this guy. I don't necessarily want to get more, but either way, it's a really nice item. But yeah, in terms of articulation, because that's the big feature on this guy, his head is on a swivel. Oh, also, I forgot to show off, he does have a rub symbol here, which works as you'd expect in alt mode there. Whereas, you know, he also has like the regular Autobot logo there. But his head is on a swivel. Like I showed, you can kind of tilt this panel up if you want him to look up, though I don't really know like what you're doing with that. The shoulders are really, really nice on him, so they can swivel around like that. They've got this joint to hinge out to the side, and they also have this joint to hinge out to the side, so you can kind of have him with his shoulders like more up or with a more standard like T-pose. And neither of those joints, I don't think, yeah, neither of those joints are required for transformation. So those are both like dedicated shoulder joints, which is really nice. He does have a bicep swivel. He's got a really, really nice ratcheted elbow, which only goes 90 degrees, but that's okay. But yeah, wow, what a satisfying ratchet joint on this guy. All of the joints honestly feel really nice and like smooth and tight on him, and the ratchets have like an appropriate number of teeth, so he doesn't have that thing where he's like stuck between, you know, like here and like here. So that's really nice. His wrists are on a swivel, and then they can also open at the hand there, and the hands look okay. I do sort of like how they designed them to look like a little bit clunky, so they kind of fit within the G1 aesthetic a little bit. I don't know if that was intentional or not, or that's just how they turned out, but you know, whatever. He does have a waist joint. It only goes from about here to here, but you know, that's still a lot more than the original had, so I appreciate that. That's nice. He does have an ab crunch, which is pretty cool. It only goes one click, but it can be useful for some poses, and it's just honestly cool that they decided to put that in there. It is really tight, that joint. The hips can go forward and back only about that far, and then you have to kind of bring the wheel out to the side to bring them out to the side, but they can go all the way out. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a really, again, just like the elbows, a really nice ratcheted knee that goes a really deep amount of degrees there too, which is nice. And then the ankles, they can't tilt forward at all. They can tilt back for transformation. And then the toes themselves are on swivels, which kind of gives him ankle tilt. So like the whole ankle isn't tilting, but it does, give him that illusion of having his feet like widen. So it works well enough. So he's certainly not like unstable or anything just because he's balancing on like the edges of his foot platform there. I think that works. I think that was the better solution rather than trying to give this whole thing like an ankle pivot. But yeah, so lots of great articulation there. The arms especially, like I really love how the shoulders work, because also for transformation, he does have that like backwards butterfly joint as well. So you can really get some pretty dynamic poses with his arms here, which I appreciate. It would have been nice if maybe the head was like on a ball joint so it could tilt up and down a little bit without using that panel, but yeah, that's not the end of the world. Overall, I think that he's really successful in terms of the articulation department, even just being able to like look a little bit more like candid than the original G1 toy, just by being able to like rotate his legs and get his ankles tilted a little bit. It just does a lot for making him look not quite as like stiff and boxy as the original G1 toys do. But yeah, in terms of his accessories, like I said, he comes with the his ion blaster here, which he can now hold sort of at the appropriate height there. And I was trying to see if maybe he could like hold it like like two-handed, but there's really no way for him to like reach his arms around his boxy body to actually get in there. Like you can have him hold that peg, but then it kind of like sits off to the side like that. So I honestly don't know why they didn't bother to just like take that peg off, but either way, he looks pretty good holding that. And then for the Energon axe, I really like the way that this works. Basically, it's got this little hinge section that you open up and then you slot it into his hand and then close it up over. So that's, I think, the best way that they've ever done the Energon axe. And I was really bummed out to find out that this doesn't actually work on Earthrise Prime, because I was hoping to use this for Earthrise Prime, because I really dislike the way that his works with like the side peg. Like it would be one thing if you just pegged it on like that and then you weren't supposed to look at the bottom, but to peg it on like that and then you're not supposed to look at one of the sides, that like always really annoyed me. The one that came in the like Centurion pack, but we'll show that off with them with him in a little bit. But yeah, no, I really like the way this Energon axe works, and with the great like shoulder articulation that he's got, he can get some pretty dynamic poses with these, which I appreciate. But yeah, no, really great. Now, neither of these have anywhere to store in this mode, unfortunately. There's no like added pegs on the back, though he does have a like 3mm peg for like flight stands and stuff like that, which is a cool addition. And like I said, you can, if you want, take out the whole matrix chamber. Obviously, you can take out just the matrix, which is kind of hollow on the back, which I was kind of bummed out to see, but not the end of the world. That's usually the case for the matrices. But yeah, if you get this piece off, gosh, I just clipped my fingernails. It's gonna be kind of a pain. It does fit very snugly in there. You can just leave him like that if you want him to look more like the original Prime, where you can kind of like see through the chest like that. I appreciate that it comes with this piece, because I like that it's got a more like solid chest piece, but it does have that option. Now he can hold the matrix too, because of his hands being able to open. It's not like a super tight grip or anything like that, but you can open up his hands and kind of pose them in such a way that you can kind of fit this in there. It's definitely possible. It's not like great, but you can finagle with it. He can physically get his hands close enough together to hold it. In terms of like actually it being stable, that's another thing. There we go. He's kind of holding it. It's not the greatest pose, but yeah, you can do it, and that's nice to see. But yeah, to get onto comparisons in this mode, once I get him resituated here. First off, here he is again with Kingdom's Sideswipe, just so you can see what it looks like with an average modern deluxe. Obviously, he's pretty much the same size as G1 Optimus Prime, so if you're familiar with that scaling, which I wasn't really, that's what they look like together. For some G1 comparisons, here he is with the Toy Colors reissue of Soundwave and G1 Bumblebee, just so you can see what they look like together, and I really like the way the two of them look together. Again, like I said, I really hope they do one of Soundwave, because this toy is honestly so good, and it's funny that it took me so long to be exposed to G1 Soundwave, but just like it would not take much to give this guy like added articulation. Like pretty much you just need him to have like better knees and then better hips, but it's not as far of a stretch as some of the other G1 toys to like actually get them articulated. Here he is for another comparison with Origins He-Man, just so you can see like the two kind of like updated versions that are supposed to be more or less the same as their originals in terms of the sculpting. I don't know. I just thought they would be kind of fun to show off together. And last but not least, here he is with Earthrise Optimus Prime. So you can see what the two of them look like together. Now, I would like to show off like how some of the accessories work between them, because honestly, I feel like if you take his Ion Blaster and give him to Earthrise Prime, like that looks really good. Just the little pop of silver on there, I feel like really, adds to it, because it's a little bit bigger than the gun that he comes with, but it's a lot smaller than the stupid big one that came with like the Centurion pack. Just so you can see, like, I feel like that's like a nice size for him. And obviously, it's all 5mm compatible, so like you can give him the super big one if you want to, which honestly kind of looks cool. I'm into that. And yeah, like I showed off, you can use this Energon Axe from the Centurion pack on him if you want. But unfortunately, this one does not work on Earthrise Optimus Prime, because you can't quite like get it fully in his hand, because his hands sit a little bit further away from his forearms, whereas Earthrise Primes are pretty much like right up against them, so that the edge of this piece kind of bumps up against it, so you can't like actually use it that way, which is kind of a bummer. But that's not like really something it was designed to do. I was just kind of hoping that it might function that way. But yeah, I guess last thing to talk about with this guy is a few of the differences that he has with the C-01 version. Like I said before, these like sculpted details like on the knees and the forearms and the feet there, I believe like those were originally not actually sculpted, but just sticker detailing on the original toy. And then on C-01, those are actually like painted in with the sticker detailing colors. And then this guy comes with the stickers. Another difference is the eyes on the other one are yellow. The clear blue for the chest is also clear yellow. Obviously comes with the trailer, and that's pretty much it. There's probably some hue differences in terms of like the blue and the yellow there. Neither of them have these bits painted, which is kind of unfortunate, but I kind of get it, because the G1 toy didn't have them painted and the animation model didn't have them painted. It's just something that I've gotten used to seeing with Prime figures, of having like the silver on the legs there. So maybe that's something they'll do in the Toy Hacks sticker kit. But yeah, that's pretty much all the difference. Also the matrix that comes with the other one is just like a chrome silver, so it's like more of a, in theory, toy accurate matrix, even though the original one never came with a matrix. It's probably based on like the comic design or something like that, whereas this guy has like the animation design. And then I believe that the gun that comes with the other one doesn't have the black detailing in there, because the original toy didn't, or doesn't have the silver detailing in there. So yeah, just a list of a few of the differences there. And then the other last thing is to point out like all the spots on the figure that have die cast, because he really does have like a nice hand feel to him. I believe that it's mostly the same spots that the G1 toy had die cast. The whole chest piece here, like this whole section, is die cast. I was kind of hoping the matrix would be, but it's not. That's okay. I guess that makes sense that none of the new pieces would be die cast, but the feet are definitely die cast. These sections of the hips are die cast. I believe this is plastic, because it feels warm to the touch, whereas this feels cold. So I think that the hips are die cast and this is just plastic with the chrome. Again, the smokestacks and the oil things here, I believe, are also just plastic. And then the only other section that I think is die cast is I think that these sections in the arms, these like inserts, might be. They don't like really feel cold, but just the way the paint sits on them looks a little bit more like the paint sits on the metal. So I'm pretty sure, but I can't really say that for sure. Also worth mentioning is he does have the rubber tires, which is super nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. He's a really, really fun figure. Again, questionable if he's really worth $70 or the $120 or whatever it is that you're paying for the C-01 version. But either way, he is a really, really nice item to handle and to own. All the joints feel really nice. I really like the new articulation that was added to him. him. It doesn't really feel like they really cheaped out on this guy in any area, aside from maybe the stickers, which is really nice to see. But yeah, no, great figure, and I'm happy that I have him. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Missing Link C-02 Convoy.